I messaged, "My child is at the hospital." My spouse responded, "I'm occupied with my family. We are hosting a cookout." Then my in-law mother disparaged my child, so I terminated their home loan, vehicle financing, and all their charge accounts. Chapter 1. Alarms and quiet. It was a weekend evening when my device buzzed, screaming through the dining room like an alert signal. I released the dishcloth and seized it. It was the academy, and their initial words made my heart sink. "Your child fainted during sports period. He's en route to regional medical in a rescue vehicle." Everything afterward was hazy. I hurried from the residence, pulse racing, motor growling. My hands shook as I messaged my spouse while driving. "Our child is in emergency. I'm going there immediately." Her reply arrived 2 minutes afterward. "I'm occupied with my family. We're hosting a cookout. Cannot depart right now." No continuation, no inquiries, just quiet. I gazed at the text. For a moment, I believed I'd imagined it. My spouse, his parent, knew her child was in the emergency ward, and her focus was meat and beverages. When I reached the medical center, I discovered my child lying weak under bright lights, a breathing tube attached to his face. The physician said it was a serious breathing attack worsened by temperature and particles. They stabilized him rapidly, but cautioned he'd require rest and close watching. I grasped his palm. "You're fine now, son. Father's here." He grinned weakly. "Where's mother?" I couldn't respond, but I knew something. I would never forget this instance. And neither would she. Chapter 2. The cookout messages. By the time my child was resting peacefully and safe from harm, it was well beyond 9 o'clock evening. I sat alone in the medical cafeteria, drinking bitter coffee, still attempting to understand everything. My spouse, Emma, hadn't appeared. Not one phone call. Not even another text. I examined my device again. Still nothing. From fury and shock, I browsed through her online presence. She had shared 6 digital stories that evening. Images of meat cooking on a grill, cocktails and grasp. Her father playing games in the yard. One share was labeled, "Relatives over everything." Relatives over everything. The contradiction struck me like a blow to the torso. Then came the last breaking point, an unintended open audio instant. One of the clips had background sound. Her parent, Patricia, my in-law mother, could be heard chuckling and stating, "That child is always becoming ill." Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it's just for notice. Fragile child, just like his parent. I repeated it 3 times. The insult didn't just sting. It sparked something in me. I'd settled their home debt. I purchased her father that vehicle. He always boasted about their charge accounts, their coverage. I managed it all. And in exchange, they ridiculed my child, my sick child. I didn't burst. I didn't yell. I simply retrieved my computer, connected to the medical Wi-Fi, accessed every account I controlled for them, and began quietly dismantling their existence. Chapter 3. Silent termination. Press, press, press. Each termination was more gratifying than the previous. I began with the clear. First, their home loan. I'd co-guaranteed the residence for them 5 years ago, establishing automatic payment from my company account. A few strokes later, I eliminated the permission. Second, their vehicle loan, a gray luxury wagon they displayed around town in. Monthly. Charges gone. The institution would reach them within a week. With a few missed charges, it would be seized quietly. Third, their charge accounts. All 3 were connected to my primary account. I didn't just suspend them, I canceled them, causing instant shutdown. Then came the subtle part. Coverage, medical, dental, even their premium life coverage plan that I generously funded as a family present. Gone. I had no legal duty to continue financing it. The instant I canceled, an automated alert would reach their email the following morning. But I wasn't done. Emma's device was still on my plan. Her data stopped, her device access eliminated, her cloud password altered. She'd still be able to browse social media until the connection died mid-photo. By midnight, I had a draft prepared. A calm, detailed letter, not to them, to Emma's younger sibling, Andrew. He had always respected me, had supported me when his parents spoke poison. I wrote, "Dear Andrew, I wanted you to know why I had to separate myself. This isn't about vengeance. It's about dignity. I've always treated your relatives as my own, but after what was stated about my child during a medical crisis, I can't continue to support people who treat sickness like a joke. I hope one day you'll comprehend." Then I closed my computer. That night, as my child slept peacefully beside me in his medical bed, I realized something important. I wasn't just cutting them off financially. I was liberating myself emotionally. But they wouldn't feel that liberation just yet. They'd feel the results first. Chapter 4. The Fear Display. The following morning began quietly on my end at least. I obtained coffee from the medical cafeteria, returned to my child's room, and sat by his bedside. His temperature had broken. His breathing had steadied. The physician assured me he'd be fine with rest and observation. My device, however, was anything but calm. 7:18 morning. Emma rang. I didn't respond. 7:19 morning. Her father rang, rejected. 7:22 morning. Home payment failed. Alert hit their email inbox. 7:23 morning. Emma again, message left. I didn't bother to check. 7:27 morning. Her parent messaged, "Did you terminate the charge accounts? We're at the market." And they all rejected. I took another drink of my coffee, smiled. By 8 o'clock morning, the group conversation I'd long been part of titled Relatives first erupted into digital chaos. "Emma, what the hell did you do? Are you insane? You're destroying everything." Her father, "You've always been overly sensitive. This is taking it too far. Mature." Her parent, "You ungrateful little man. We accepted you in like relatives." I waited 10 minutes, then calmly wrote, "My child was in the emergency room. You were throwing a cookout. And your spouse, my spouse, couldn't even appear. You showed me exactly what relatives means to you. So now I'm showing you what I no longer owe to transmit." It felt like releasing a decade of suppressed dignity. Later. That evening, a nurse touched my shoulder. "There's a woman in the waiting space asking to see you," she said. "Emma." I walked out to find her, hair a disaster, cosmetics running, device in one hand, vehicle keys in the other. She looked furious and shaken. "Are you seriously doing this?" she hissed, stepping closer. "You can't just cut off everything without warning." I looked her dead in the eye. "Funny. That's what I thought when you ignored my call from the emergency room." She opened her mouth, closed it again, then tried a softer tone. "Look, let's talk. We can fix this. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe my relatives." I raised a hand. "Emma, this isn't about punishment. This is about protection. I'm protecting my child from people who don't care about him. That includes you." Her mouth twitched. Her grip on the keys tightened. "You'll regret this." I took a slow breath. "No, you will. When the institution repossesses your vehicle, when the residence goes into foreclosure, when you realize all your security was built on someone you treated like an afterthought." She turned and stormed off. No dramatic last word, no fake tears. Just silence. And I knew then the message had finally landed. Chapter 5. The breakdown begins. 2 days passed. The medical center discharged my child with a clean bill of health, a few prescriptions, and strict orders for rest. I took him home, not to the residence Emma and I shared, but to my new dwelling, already fully furnished. I'd moved fast, anticipating what was coming. Emma, meanwhile, had spiraled. The first crack came when her vehicle was repossessed at her workplace. According to a friend of hers who didn't know we were no longer speaking, Emma burst into tears in the parking lot as the repo agent towed off the sleek white wagon she was so proud of. I watched the recording later. A coworker filmed it, not out of cruelty, but stunned disbelief. The second crack came when her relatives called me from a different number. Emma's father's voice was oddly humble this time. "We'd like to speak to you, man to man." I remained quiet. "Listen, maybe we said some things we shouldn't have." Emotions ran high, but cutting off the home loan, the accounts, that's going to destroy our credit. I finally replied. "Then maybe next time your daughter tells you my child's in the emergency room, you won't grill steaks and call him a burden." He sighed. "What do you want?" That was the moment. I had no intention of dragging this out. I didn't want vengeance to become my identity, but I wasn't going to walk away without drawing a clear line. "I want you to understand what it feels like when you're treated as disposable." I said, "I want your daughter to stop seeing people as wallets or servants, and most of all, I want my child to know his father stood up for him." He didn't respond, just hung up. Later that night, Emma finally showed up at the new dwelling. She looked like she hadn't slept. Her voice was no longer sharp. It cracked. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For what?" I asked. "For not coming when you called. For letting them say those things. For making you feel alone." I believed parts of it, but I also saw the truth in her eyes. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry for what she lost. Her gaze flicked toward our child who was curled up on the sofa with his blanket and drink box watching cartoons. "Can I stay?" "Just to be near him," she asked. I didn't answer. I just opened the door behind me and nodded toward it. "Co-parenting, Emma. Nothing more. You'll see him Saturday. Don't be late." She paused stunned, then left quietly, respectfully. That was the moment I knew the cycle had broken. Epilogue. The new blueprint. 6 months later, the rhythm of life had changed. My child was thriving. Doing better in school, smiling more, sleeping peacefully. No more late-night arguments, no more being forgotten. I made sure he knew every single day how much he was loved, that he mattered. Emma and I communicated strictly through a co-parenting application. Pickups, drop-offs, no emotion, no games. Her tone changed. She was more careful now, even polite. Her father eventually took a job at a smaller firm after defaulting on some loans. They moved to a modest rental residence and sold the family vehicle. Their cookout parties stopped. One day, my child looked up at me while we were building a block spaceship. "Father, I'm glad it's just us sometimes." I looked at him, heart full. "Me too, son. I never sought to ruin lives. I only wanted to protect the one life that mattered most, my child's. I didn't need applause or revenge songs. I just needed peace. And finally, I had it. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story. Share it with someone who needs this energy. And subscribe to Lauren's Story for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay tuned.